Jody Madison. Thank you. Would the math department please stand and be recognized when I call your name? Mrs. Rochelle Marara. National Board Certified Teacher, Mrs. Donna Conley. National Board Certified Teacher, Mrs. Amanda Salt. Mr. Will Smith. And Ms. Sherry Hutchinson. Thank you. Would the Science Department please stand and be recognized when I call your name? Ms. Christy Harper. Dr. Floretta Haggard. Mrs. Melinda Lewis. Ms. Candy Dameron. Ms. Erica Capps. Thank you. Would the Social Studies Department please stand and be recognized when I call your name? Mr. Luke Bennett. Mr. Tyler Cronister. Mr. Chad Weeks. And Mr. Gary Edwards. Thank you. Would the elective teachers please stand and be recognized when I call your name? Mr. Skylar Atkins. Mrs. Jennifer Denslow, National Board Certified Teacher. Mr. John Matthews. Mr. Josh Blair. Mr. Clay Drake. National Board Certified Teacher, Ms. Sharon Hudson. And sitting at the very top up there, Ms. Tanya Baith. Mrs. Angie Littrell. And Mr. Jim Deaton. Would our two counselors and athletic director please stand and be recognized? Ms. Sarah Craig. Mrs. Taylor Odell. And Mr. Brandon Craig. Thank you. Under the direction of Mr. John Matthews, the Oologah High School Band will now play Dark Cloud, which was commissioned by the Oologah High School Band as a tribute to the town of Oologah. The Claremore Symphony League awarded a mini-grant to assist in financial support for this piece. Dark Cloud was premiered at the World Strides Heritage Performance Festival in Chicago, Illinois on Saturday, May 3rd, 2014.
Popcorn?
At this time, I would like to recognize those individuals that are certificates of distinction. Students meeting the requirements for this recognition are wearing red cords. The requirements are to have met or exceeded the following criteria by the end of their senior year: successfully completed the college prep work-ready curriculum, achieved at least a 3.5 overall GPA, achieved a satisfactory score on all end of instruction tests. Will these students wearing a red cord please stand and be recognized and face the audience? Thank you. At this time, I would like to recognize our Oklahoma Academic Scholars. This honor is given to a student who has earned a 3.7 GPA on a 4-point scale, completed all curricular requirements for a high school diploma, and earned a composite score of a 27 on the ACT. Will the following individuals please stand and be recognized? Josh Snook. Woo! Yeah, Travis Kepler. Yeah. Michaela Blankenship. Cash Dietz. Chance Fletcher. And April Palmer. Big round of applause for these young scholars. Thank you. It is the policy of the Oologah Talala Board of Education to recognize students of outstanding achievement. Those most distinguished outstanding achievement award is considered to be valedictorian of the graduating class. The next distinguished outstanding achievement award is considered to be salutatorian of the graduating class. Would the following students please come forward and be recognized as valedictorian and salutatorian of the 2014 Oologah High School graduating class? Valedictorian, Mr. Josh Snook. Salutatorian, Mr. Travis Kepler. Okay, we're going to try something a little bit different this year after having a conversation with Josh and Travis a while ago. Travis is going to assist Mr. Josh in regards to his valedictorian address. Now, here's what's going to happen, so follow along if you would, please. This means clap. Okay, very good. When Travis does that, this means laugh. Okay, so when Travis does this, that means laugh. When he does this, that means clap. Josh, I'm going to turn it over to you.
I set out today with the mission to both motivate and entertain you. However, as I was writing this speech, I realized I'm not very good at motivation. So if I can't motivate you, I hope I can at least entertain you. Class of 2014, we've made it. This is our day to be proud of our accomplishments. Whether our next steps take us thousands of miles away or just around the corner, we will soon be experiencing what the real world is like. For many of us, this can be a daunting experience, and we will undoubtedly face hardships. To help us out, I have compiled a list of advice from family, friends, and philosophers that I will call my top 10 tips for going out into the real world. From a 1981 graduate of Oologah and close family friend Richard Clark, who should be present today, comes my number 10 tip for going out into the real world. Don't go. Number 9. My 3rd grade cousin Jack offered this advice. Make new friends and get better. He never specified what we need to get better at, so you fill in the blank. The 8th tip for going out into the real world is brought to us from the intergalactic philosopher Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try. So often it is easy to get bogged down in the try. Yoda's approach is strong, it's decisive, and it's the truth. Number 7 comes from my dad, Bart Snook. Do what you can, when you can, but not while on the can. My number 6 tip for going out into the real world are the words of true wisdom and inspiration from my amazing mother, Beth Snug. No matter how old you are, always listen to your mom. The number 5 spot belongs to my grandmother, Rita. Her advice is simple: be yourself. Number 4, from Dr. Seuss. You have brains in your head and feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. The number 3 tip for going out into the real world comes from Abraham Lincoln. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Graduation is just the first step. That's not part of what he said. Set goals and follow your dreams. Number 2 is from John F. Kennedy. We must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. Fellow students, we have so many people to thank. Parents, teachers, administrators, they all played a huge role in helping us to get where we are right now. So on behalf of the class of 2014, thank you. Almost there. Now, if there is only one thing you take from this speech today, I want it to be that while you're out doing your own thing, remember that you are the star of your own show. While I hope that you gain some sort of insight from my top 10 list for the real world, keep in mind, this is my top 10 list. I challenge you, as you make your way through the next few years in the world beyond, to create your own top 10 list to remind you who you are, where you've come from, and where you are going. Now, I'm sure some of you in the stands may have noticed that I only had 9 tips on my top 10 list. Well, I'm saving the best for last. This last piece of advice comes from Oologah's favorite son, Will Rogers, and it goes like this: never miss a good chance to shut up.
Having successfully completed all state requirements for graduation from high school, it is my honor to introduce to you the class of 2014. At this time, Senior Class President, Mr. Cash Deets, will call the class roll for the conferring of diplomas.
Hello. Mr. Shorter gave me permission to say a few words before a little more than a few, before I call the names. So I decided to start this with a little quote from Martin Luther King Jr. And he said, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. As much as we are ready to start a new chapter in our lives, I believe it's a good time to look back at some of the accomplishments we've had as a group and as individuals. And I'd like to start off with football, because that's really impacted my life. And I describe our team as a rap song by Drake, and he says, started from the bottom, now we here. And as grammatically bad as that is, it's the truth with our football team, because the first year that we played in 7th grade together, we had 0 wins, 8 losses. And fast forward to senior year, thanks to the help of our coaches, especially Coach Craig, we had 8 wins, and we had 10 athletes with conference, state, or district honors. We had 4 scholarships come out, and it was just crazy. So as you can see, we're here. But there's also, in life, you're almost always going to start from the bottom, and it's a rarity that you would start at the top. Some other students that have definitely worked their way to the top, and that's our speech, drama, and debate. Not only have they made us laugh throughout high school, which I hate to say this, but I was kind of skeptical when they wrote their own plays, which they did, and they always made us laugh. And being a low-key comedian myself, I know how hard it is to make high schoolers laugh, and that's almost harder than Mr. Shornick's biceps. See, low-key, you don't see where they're coming from. But yeah, they did a really great job, and they went to state all 4 years of high school, and I don't think a lot of us realize that. So you speech, drama, and debate kids, you did a great job. Now, one of my other favorite memories of high school was running out of the football helmet to our fight song, but what made it great was the band, because they did such a great job doing it. I got chills every time. But they're our biggest fans, and they made it to every game because they had to, so. But they couldn't do what they did without hard work, and not only were they supporting us before and after every game, they worked behind the scenes during the summers to work and compete for themselves, not only to show support for us. And they've made it to state this year and multiple years throughout high school, and they've worked hard. They won a big award called the Spirit of Chicago Award when they were in Chicago, and that's a big deal. So give it up for them. Yeah. Mr. Schwartz said this was supposed to last 2 minutes, but I regret not saying all this. Now, coinciding with our biggest fans, the band, were the cheerleaders. Not only did they scream their hearts out for us every game, but they were behind the scenes too, working their way to state. They made it to state twice, and they only tried twice, so that's a good deal. So they also started at the bottom, but now they're here, but some of the cheerleaders need to stay at the bottom so they don't get dropped. Now, there's another little group that made it to state all 4 years of high school, and that's our softball team. They did a great job. They made it to state all 4 years, and that's a really, really big feat, and now they're here. In basketball, we housed the conference MVP, that's Isra Deaton, and also another conference player, all-around player, and that's Colton Kitterman. He did a great job. In track, swimming, and tennis, we had 5 athletes in those events make it to state, which is a big deal. They did a great job, and they worked hard, and now they're here. Soccer and basketball, sadly their seasons just ended, but we have 2 great students going on scholarships in soccer. They have really great players, and they played hard. In baseball, they've made it to the regionals all 4 years of high school, and they've worked really hard, and now they're here. Now, we have all these organizations and activities that are doing so well, but within our organizations within high school, some of these are FCCLA, BPA, FFA, and Student Council. We've came close to over 10,000 community service hours with just our seniors, which is amazing. So I said we're here finally, but you guys are wondering if I just came up here to tell you that we're physically here. Yes, that's it. Just kidding. It's proof that the grammatically poor lyrics of the rapper Drake are true. Throughout life, you will be at the bottom, and you almost always start from the bottom, and you will be knocked down and thrown around. You have proven that the road to the top is hard and full of triumph and pain, but it is achievable and worth it. So now we're here finally. But we can't plateau and let this be our final place that we're here at. We have to push up higher, so if we challenge ourselves with something we could never do, you'll find that you can achieve anything. I can't tell you what's on the way to the top, but may Christ lead you in your endeavor, and may the memories you've created here at Oologah not be your bottom, but your top. And may what lies ahead of us and what lies behind us are only small matters to what lies within us. Thank you. We started from the bottom and now we're here. Now for the good stuff. Will the first row please stand? Joshua Snook.